Hello, my loves. I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being here, where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And this video is about how the narcissist controls you, right? I talk many times on this channel about what's going on spiritually and energetically, that the narcissist is actually soul detached, operating with an entity of consciousness that we're calling narcissism, which is why they follow the exact same sequence, right? And a lot of the control happens in the psychic and energetic realm, right? What does that look like? It looks like your whole life becomes about them. You're worried about what will happen next. Yeah, you're constantly on edge, constantly becoming what the narcissist needs you to be, right? In order to pacify them, fawn them, make things okay. Just constantly living in fight and flight mode, really, in a trauma response, right? To accommodate their behavior. Yeah, so we spend a lot of time when we're in this cycle ruminating, going over and over things, wondering what's wrong with us, what have we done wrong, what could we have done differently, yeah? Thinking there's something wrong with us when actually it's wrong with them, right? So because it's a psychic attack, the rumination, the going over things, the constant trying to make things right, trying to fix it, trying to explain to them what's wrong with them, and this overemphasis on them and underemphasis on our own well-being and health, right? And what we want and need is what happens. So if you want to join Sovereign, that's going to bring you home. It's going to help you know what your values are and live by them. It's going to help you set healthy boundaries. It's going to help you come back into your own energy, because in the narcissistic abusive cycle, we don't really exist in our authentic power and truth, right? We're just constantly, right, being what they need us to be, constantly wondering what we're doing wrong, constantly walking on eggshells, constantly going into fight, flight, freeze or fawn, the trauma responses. So let's talk about the trauma responses. Fight is obvious. Yeah, they trigger you and you respond. Now, a lot of us have done that in this cycle, and we can feel a lot of guilt and shame about it because they've taken us away from ourselves and our values and who we really are. So we might have done what they call responsive abuse, which is when we lash out or do something out of character and, that's not very good, that we regret later. We might have said something. We might have taken action, we might have got violent, we might have done a number of things in responsive abuse. But again, the narcissist triggered you to take you out of yourself. They want you out of your power, right? Feeling fear, obligation, guilt, shame, those kind of negative emotions, jealousy. I'll never forget, very soon after I met my ex, he sent me a picture of him and his previous partner, and it was like, he said it was a mistake, but he was trying to get me jealous. He was trying to invoke not love and joy and happiness, but negative emotions that create trauma bonds, right? Which is what keeps us addicted and enmeshed with the narcissist. So they do everything to keep a trauma bond alive, which means they build you up and then they crush you down. And we spend a lot of our lives going over and over and over what happened, what we could have done differently, thinking it's our fault, right? And that's what keeps us trapped. So they control you emotionally, they control you psychically, yeah? And we've got to break it. So I've got a number of videos on here about breaking trauma bonds, breaking the psychic attack, saying no consent in the energetic realm. A lot of people have a lot of dreams and, sort of multi-dimensional things going on because it's a multi-dimensional attack. What you have to know is that when someone controls your emotions, they control your reality, right? Because our whole experience of life is our emotional response. I could go out in the rain and hate the rain. You could go out in the rain and dance in it and love it. It's how we feel about things that informs our entire experience of life. So when someone controls you psychically and emotionally, they control your entire reality and everything becomes about them. That's what the narcissist wants. Everything in your life becomes about them, right? You trying to be good enough for them. You trying to fix them, explain to them, validate yourself. It all becomes about them. So sovereignty is about making your life about you. Now, it does not mean you're selfish, and it doesn't mean you don't care about other people, because when we actually come home to ourselves, what we tend to want to do is contribute to the world, right? Is live on a bigger purpose, is do things to actually elevate other people's lives. But we've got to come home first. We can't make our life about the narcissist. We've got to make it about our well-being, what's good for us, living in our authentic values and truth, Yeah, so we don't betray ourselves, because the narcissistic trap is always making you betray yourself, your values, what you stand for, and who you are. Sovereign, my program, honestly will make you come home to yourself in a whole new way, and you'll live in alignment with who you are, what you want and need, right? And then the natural side effect of doing that is self-love, and also wanting to contribute to the world in a bigger way, right? Because you're already filled up. You've given yourself what you want and need. You've what I call self-partnered. So you've come home to yourself. You're taking care of your inner child. I talk about the mama and papa bear in Sovereign, like inside of us, right? My mama bear now looks after Ellie, whereas before I just let her be exploited, right? And this breaks trust with ourselves. Yeah, when we betray ourselves, judge ourselves, are too harsh on ourselves, yeah, we don't trust ourselves. So when we say, I've got this goal and I want to do this thing, we don't believe ourselves. So coming home and self-partnering is how we build self-trust. And then from there, when we have goals, right, and things we want to achieve, we trust ourselves with them. So it's such a groundbreaking course. Please join Sovereign if you can. I've put the price back down to $555. You can have a payment plan if you want, but it's really, really powerful on this. But remember, the narcissist is controlling you psychically and emotionally. Right? And what they'll tend to do is blame you. So if you say you stay with a narcissist who cheats on you, they'll tend to throw it back in your face always and say, well, why are you with me then? Yeah? Things like that. Why are you with me then? And what they're doing all the time is eroding your values and boundaries. So over time, they don't exist anymore because they've chipped away at it over and over again. At the beginning of the relationship, you probably, for example, wouldn't have tolerated some of the things you've tolerated later on. But they chip away at your values, they chip away at your boundaries, and then they blame you for it. Right? They don't care that it's out of love for them that you've decided to compromise or, accept behaviour that you wouldn't normally accept. That's not where they care about. They'll throw it in your face and say, well, you shouldn't have accepted it. You shouldn't have stayed with me. They'll blame you for everything in this cycle, right? And that's how they control you. They literally erode your self-esteem to as much as they can. Because why? Happy and fulfilled people are the hardest to control. People who have been eroded in their self-confidence and self-esteem and identity and sense of reality. Remember, the narcissist distorts your entire sense of reality, right? So you start thinking you're crazy often because they'll call you crazy a lot of the time and you don't know what's true anymore, right? They actually try and drive you mad. Why? Because you're more controllable in that state, right? So if you want to join Sovereign, the notes are in the comments. Please keep liking, subscribing and sharing. Let me know what you want me to talk more about, because I love improving this conversation, saying it, catching it for what it is, and actually healing for real, right? Where we're actually taking our power back and we're seeing through the illusion, because narcissistic abuse is all about illusion, distorting your sense of reality and distorting your sense of self. Lots of love, guys. I'll speak to you soon.